Israel's siege against Palestine completes 232 days. Israeli forces committed 5 new massacres against families in Gaza in the last 24 hours. In Argentina, police repressed demonstrations near the Cordoba airport during President Javier Milei's arrival. And this Saturday, May 25th, citizens worldwide celebrate Africa Day on this occasion with the theme Education Fit for the 21st Century. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Israel's siege against Palestine completes 232 days. Israeli occupation forces committed 5 new massacres against families in Gaza. Authorities in Gaza warned that the Israeli attacks in the last 24 hours left at least 46 Palestinians dead and another 130 wounded. In this sense, the media warned that the Tel Aviv forces shelled residential areas east of the city of Deir al-Balah and the Nusayrat refugee camp between Friday night and Saturday morning, May 25th. According to the information, the rescue teams have not been able to reach the victims of the incident due to the fact that the Israeli attacks prevent the entry of medical and emergency teams. Since October 7, 2023, Israel has killed 35,857 Palestinians and wounded more than 80,293, most of them women and children. In Palestine, the presidency reports agreement to reactivate the Karem Abu Salem border crossing to allow the entry of humanitarian aid after the intensification of the Israeli aggression on Rafah. According to the Palestinian presidency, the Egyptian presidents Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his United States counterpart Joe Biden agreed to allow United Nations aid through the Karem Abu Salem border crossing only until legal mechanisms are established to reopen the passage of humanitarian aid from Egypt to the city of Rafah in the Gaza Strip. The agreement was the result of the humanitarian situation of the Palestinian citizens due to the lack of food, drinking water and medicines after the bombardments executed by Israel since October 7, 2023. In Palestine, new Israeli bombing in the center of the city of Rafah targeting the Al-Kuwaiti hospital during Friday night. The Tel Aviv army launched a bell fire, leaving several civilians dead. This attack is considered one of the most violent since the beginning of hostilities in the city of Rafah. Likewise, Israeli aircraft destroyed homes in the center of the city in the Shuka and Al-Janina neighborhoods, in addition to attacking the eastern border areas between Deir al-Balah and Han Yunis. Israeli occupation forces arrested more than 15 Palestinians during illegal raids in the last 24 hours in the occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Detainees Affairs Authority and the Palestinian Prisoners Society reported that the arrests took place in 6 West Bank governorates, including Ramallah and Bethlehem. One notable incident involved the repeated raids and harassment of the family of Tarek Dawood in Kalkilia, whose house has been subjected to daily raids by the Israeli occupation army, and his family members have been repeatedly detained and mistreated. As a result of the operations, Israeli forces assaulted and threatened resident families while destroying their homes. With these apprehensions, more than 8,000 Palestinians are being held prisoners by Israel. The government of Spain warned Israel that the measures adopted by the International Court of Justice are binding and mandatory. In this sense, the Spanish government's foreign minister, José Manuel Álvarez, urged the Tel Aviv regime to comply with all precautionary measures established by the international organization, including the cessation of the offensive in Rafah, south of Gaza. The diplomat also called for the implementation of the ceasefire, the release of the hostages, and the humanitarian access. The International Court of Justice, following an application filed by South Africa on Friday, ordered Israel to halt its operation in Rafah and any other action that causes the death of Palestinian people in Gaza. In Yemen, thousands of citizens marched in solidarity with the people of Palestine in rejection of the genocide in the Gaza Strip. The mobilization took place on Friday in Mauli al-Nabawi Square, west of Saada city and several districts of the country. Member of Yemen's Supreme Political Council, Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, detailed that the state's operations in support of Gaza are legitimized by the Quran and oblige them to defend their brothers and protect the oppressed. In this regard, the Yemeni population responded to the call of the leader of the Ansar Allah movement, Abdul Malik al-Hudi, who invited the people to come out in mass in Sana'a and in all provinces. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Argentina, police repressed demonstrations near the Cordoba airport during the arrival of President Javier Milei to the nation. The State Workers Association stated that the president's policies are not welcome in any province of the country. Likewise, the union organizations denounced the massive layoffs, low salaries, and privatization of companies led by the administration of President Javier Milei. The union denounces that the government is promoting a model of hunger and plundering that affects all citizens. In the framework of this demonstration, the state security forces have deployed a strong police contingent that has attacked demonstrators. Meanwhile, the mobilizations in the province of Misiones have been going on for 9 days since the workers of the local security forces rejected the offer of a 30% increase. Protests which were joined by the employees of the education sector, among them teaching staff, in demand of decent salaries. While for their part, health workers affirm that the proposal is insufficient in view of the increase in the cost of basic necessities. As part of the presidential campaign in Venezuela, the candidacy of the United Platform visited a community in the south of Caracas, the capital, where Chavez sympathizers took to the streets. A red tide, as the mobilization of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela have been labeled, accompanied President Nicolás Maduro during his tour. In the south of Caracas, he was met by working-class people of the country's steel and iron industry that have defeated the sanctions the extreme right-wing opposition requested from Washington. The northern coastal states of Anzoátegui and Sucre also showed their loyalty to the political formation that has guaranteed peace and a healthy economy in Venezuela.
And they came out to meet us. Look at the images. Men, women, families, children out in the streets. Such happiness, such joy. People in the streets. See them there. The people of Santa Rosa Parish. What a joy. 40 degrees in the shade. Cool. There we go, arriving at the city of Bolivar. There, we are heading for the road that goes straight to the new bridge, the beautiful bridge. We are going to call it like that, beautiful bridge. Greetings, hugging. There I greet them through the megaphone. Dancing to the drum, dancing calypso. Impressive. A surprise full of love and beauty by the people of Bolivar. I thank the people of Vistahermosa Parish, the people of Sabanita, the people of Bolivar. It was really beautiful.
Speaking to metal and steel workers, President Maduro said that the U.S. sanctions the opposition asked for, that same opposition that now hopes to rule Venezuela, cost the country $642 billion, but that despite that, over the last 3 months, thanks to the efforts of the government, but above all of the people, Venezuela's economy has grown over 7%.
With this projection of 4%, ICLAC and the International Monetary Fund are placing us as #1 in Latin America and the Caribbean, and have achieved this with the hard work, with our own effort. Look, because of our work capacity, but I have even better news for ICLAC and the International Monetary Fund. Much better news. We have been growing steadily for 11 quarters in a row, And through first quarter of this 2024, we have grown over 7%, and that's a conservative figure.
We now have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Fun short break, don't go away. Welcome back. This Saturday, May 25th, citizens worldwide celebrate Africa Day on this occasion with the theme Education Fit for the 21st Century. This year's theme aims to create an education system that not only meets the demands of the 21st century but also ensures that every African child has the opportunity to thrive. Education is a cornerstone for Africa's growth and development, serving as a critical driver for socio-economic transformation and innovation. The theme aligns perfectly with Agenda 2063, the African Union's strategic framework for the continent's socio-economic transformation. On May 25, 1963, representatives of 30 African nations met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and founded the Organization of African Unity, with the initial goal of encouraging the decolonization of Angola, Mozambique, and South Africa. In 2002, the Organization of African Unity was replaced by the African Union. In the Southwest Pacific, in the northern region of Papua New Guinea, a massive landslide has killed 105 people and another 300 are reported missing. The landslide occurred early Friday morning in the province of Enga, some 600 kilometers from the nation's capital. Deputy Amos Akem said the landslide destroyed over 1,200 houses and that the number of people injured has not yet been determined. The International Organization for Migration said the number of fatalities may soar to devastating figures due to the population density in the affected areas. Authorities said emergency rescue operations continue to recover the bodies buried under the landslide that hit the Khao Khalam village, and that efforts are to rebuild damaged infrastructure are already underway. The authorities also said they will be sending experts to assess the situation and the risk of new landslides in the mountain region. Meanwhile, people are asking the government for more support to guarantee the safety of the people living in the area. In Oceania, the evacuation of French tourists trapped by demonstrations in New Caledonia has begun. The Office of the French High Commissioner in the New Caledonia said that measures to accompany foreigners and tourists are underway. The first tourists to be evacuated took off on board military planes from the Magenta airfield located in Noumea, heading for Australia and New Zealand. Royal participants have denounced that the French government takes away visibility from the native inhabitants of New Caledonia, even though they represent over 40% of the population. And French authorities arrested at least 173 activists during environmental protests in front of energy companies. The French police reported that the demonstrators were trying to interrupt the company's general meeting as they accused Amundi of being one of the main shareholders of the oil giant Total Energy. But when confronted with the police presence near the headquarters, they decided to go to the Montparnasse district, where the company is located. The French authority also stated that at the end of the meeting, the facade of the building was sprayed with paint and some windows were broken, leaving 10 injured among the police officers. On the other hand, the Amundi company stated that it will file a complaint due to the violence and the material damages. In Russia, the authorities of the city of Kherson denounced the risk of flooding when the Ukrainian government opened the floodgates of the Dnieper hydroelectric dam. The authorities of said province warned that there is a massive discharge of water due to the opening of the floodgates of the dam. The governor of Kherson province, Vladimir Saldo, declared that the massive release of water will continue during the next few days. The local authorities warned that due to the situation, there is a risk of flooding on the islands of the Dnieper River Delta, near the mouth of the water flowing into the Black Sea. Local authorities have declared a state of emergency in the city and have proceeded to the evacuation of villages near the power plant dam because of the risk of flooding. In India, the general elections penultimate phase is underway in districts of the capital, Haryana, and 6 other states for 58 lower house of parliament seats. Polling centers open at 7 a.m. local time to welcome over 968 million registered voters. These are the longest elections in the world. They will run through Saturday, June 1st, when the 7th and last phase of the elections will take place, and the results are expected to be announced on Tuesday, June the 4th. These elections are taking place in the midst of a nationwide meteorological red alert due to temperatures exceeding 43 degrees Celsius, for which government agencies have been instructed to implement adequate measures to manage the situation.
We need a government that thinks of the poor when making decisions. The rich can get by somehow because they have resources. The poor have nothing. We are facing many difficulties to raise our children.
Although I'm drenched in sweat, we have to exercise our voting right for the sake of our country. If we don't elect a good leader, the same problems will continue. I have the right to vote for my country, to choose a good leader who may work for us.
We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at TeleSURenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.